What's up, you crazy metalheads and rockers? As you know, I'm Al Din. I'm the host of Underground Noise Webzine. I'd like to give a shout out to Davide Metalist Polito for providing this webisode. Today, I'm talking with Brent Smedley from the band called Out of Darkness. Welcome, Brent. How you doing, dude?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me, bud.
Hey, you're welcome. You're more than welcome. I also like to give a shout out to all the new subscribers that are out there. Thanks so very much for subscribing. I encourage everybody to check out this channel and support the underground. The first question I'd like to ask you, Brent, is what makes your band different than most bands out there?
Uh, well, one thing I would say is that I think we have a very unique sound, which is it works in our favor sometimes. Sometimes it's a bit of a hindrance. At first, a lot of music you'll hear it and you'll like it the very first time you hear it. Our stuff, it has some of that, but it seems like it takes a few listens before you really start to dig it. So that's one thing. I think the mixture of styles that we have, combined with our songwriting, it makes for a pretty unique sound.
Yeah, I got to listen to that one song that talks about the crucifixion of Jesus, and I was like, wow, is this band a Christian band?
Uh, I would say we're kind of a covert Christian band. We're not we don't call ourselves Christian metal or anything. We kind of leave it up to the listener, but there's definitely those kind of messages throughout that song in particular and throughout some of the other songs as well.
Yes, it definitely grabbed me by the balls. I was like, holy shit, this is something else, man.
Right on, right on. Yeah, that's one of the epic ones off the record for sure.
Yeah, because as I was listening to it, I said to myself, they sound a little bit like Bloodgood, Striper, Iced Earth, a little Dream Theater. Who would
Okay.
you, who would you say are your influences musically?
Some of the usuals, of course, like the grandfathers, say Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, mixed with some other things like say Pantera, Queensryche, Nevermore. Uh, yeah, that's a few of them for sure.
That's awesome, dude. Speaking of Nevermore, I was listening to them yesterday on the Alexa Echo Dot, and the song to be exact was Emptiness Unobstructed.
Ah, right on. Right on. Yeah, I love those guys, man. I got to know them a bit. The first few tours I did with Iced Earth, they were our buddy band. We shared the bus with them. So I was a big fan of Worrell back from the Sanctuary days. So it was really cool to get to tour with them, and it's one of the unique times in my career that I've had where I was already a fan of someone, and then the more that I got to know him, the bigger of a fan I became. Just he was such a great dude, such a skilled, unique singer.
He had wide range for sure.
Yeah, yeah, very unique sound. Kind of, he didn't sound like the guy, but kind of like the guy from Sabotage, John Oliva. That they have a very distinct. You know that that's them when you hear them.
Yeah, kind of like an operatic voice, from what I understand.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. And a lot of he could sing in a lot of different ways. You know, he could sing real soft, real smooth, real harsh, and of course he had the kill range.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you miss most about Worrell?
I would say just his heart. You know, it was just such a sweet guy. You know, it was really good dude. You know.
If Rhino was here, he would ask you the question, you get to bring back one dead musician, but you have to sacrifice one in return. Who's coming up and who's going down?
Oh man, that's a hard question, man. That's a hard one. Geez, that's awful hard. Uh, I would say maybe to bring back. I would say maybe Ronnie James Dio. Um, as far as sending one down, that's an even harder other question. Um, Jeez, I don't want to put a hex on anyone. I'm not really sure who I would send down. Uh, Maybe Marilyn Manson or something. I mean, I don't
That's
want to
not
get any hate. What's that?
that's not a bad choice if you ask me. I'm not a big Manson fan either. And when I went to high school, I heard it and I was like, wow, what is this crap? I mean, it was cool at the time, don't get me wrong, but Nowadays, I'm like, man, this guy's going down the tubes. He looks weirder and weirder every time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very image driven music. You know, it's a whole lot about the look, not much about the substance. But
That makes a lot of sense. Do you have any pre-show rituals before you do a show?
um, well, I've got some of the normal ones. You know, I like to spend some time warming up. Uh, I have a little practice pad kit. I warm up my hands and my feet. And I'll try and just kind of get in a mindset. You know, I try and take at least 5 minutes or so. And I don't know if you'd call it meditation or anything, but I kind of surround myself in the white light and I try and psych myself up and say, you know, this show is going to be better than the last show, and each show will be better than the last show, something like that. And, you know, as a group, we try and just kind of hang out and, you know, be goofy a little bit before going on. And then, you know, we put the Dukes in, and it's, you know, there's four of us. So it's like the four Musketeers. We're going to go give them the best we can.
That's really cool. That's how the band is. We're only two members, and it,
Oh,
it
really?
works. It works for the best because he plays guitar and bass and does the drums on GarageBand, and I do guitar and vocals myself and the lyrics. So someone's
Right
got to
on.
handle most of that, I can't give
Right.
myself all of the credit because that'd be too much of a conceited bastard, if you ask me. Nobody
That's
likes to
cool.
be conceited, but if they are, well, here's my finger. Don't be conceited.
Right.
But back to that one question about sacrificing and bringing back somebody from the dead. For me personally, I switch it up every time. I would bring back Dimebag Darrell from Pantera.
Yeah, that's a
I
very,
would
very
have,
good choice.
and I would have to get rid of Phil just because Phil's a dick.
All
You know,
right. Okay.
put Dimebag on vocals. He actually had a pretty decent voice too.
Yeah, I've seen some of the earlier stuff when where he was singing, you know, like in
Yeah,
the club stuff. Yeah.
he definitely had a unique voice to him. It's one of those voices that you don't hear too often. It's like, whoa, that's coming out of Dimebag. Yep.
Mm. Yeah, it's not fair to be that good playing guitar and to be able to sing.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge for some, but some people can wing it pretty good.
Yeah, some people like, you know, say James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine, those guys, it's like, you know, it's like second nature to them. You
Yeah,
know, I don't know. I can't sing much less play guitar. I don't see how those guys do that at the same time.
it's kind of like the band called Autopsy. Their drummer is the vocalist, and
Oh man.
I didn't know that for the longest time, and I was like, holy crap, dude! Look at this fucker go. He's drumming. He's doing growls. How does somebody sit down and do growls like that? It's very impressive.
Yeah, man, that's a lot to play the drums and sing. Jeez.
Yeah, you get that blast beat in there, and you just got. It's like, whoa, this is amazing.
Right? That's cool. Well, kudos to that guy.
Absolutely. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure, he's still kicking ass and taking names. So there's
Right
nothing
on.
wrong with that.
Right on.
I'd like to ask you about your new album. Is it a concept album?
Um, no, not really. It has some similar themes, but I wouldn't call it a concept album. Not really. You know, there's similar themes and it's kind of loosely joined together, but no, it's not a full blown concept album.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, like, how would you describe the lyrics? Like,
Um, oh geez, let me see. That's kind of a loaded question. Let's see. We had three of us actually contributed on the lyrics. Of course, Eric wrote a lot of lyrics. Bill Staley also wrote some lyrics. Like Bill wrote the lyrics for Via Dolorosa, for example. I actually put my name in the hat as well. I wrote the lyrics for two of the songs with help from Eric as well. He helped me arrange them and come up with the melodies and whatnot. But I'll speak on mine first, I guess. I wrote the lyrics for the song Entity. I think it's track 6. And what that is that's my take on it's my take on reincarnation, but in a broader sense of not just like a person being reincarnated as a person, but it's more of like the soul, the life force, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me, being reincarnated over time. Like, for example, you might come back in one of your lives as a person. You might come back in one of your lives as, say, a blue whale or an elephant or something like that. Or you might come back as some kind of alien entity that we don't quite comprehend or something, somewhere far across in the cosmos or something. So it's kind of a take on that. That's the one that I wrote. Another one that I wrote is called Open Wound. That one's more about like some people tend to hold grudges more than others. Myself, I try not to do that. I mean, we're only human, but Open Wound is just about a grudge that someone, be it a family member or a friend or whoever, a grudge that someone holds, and they're determined that they're going to take that to the grave. There's whatever happened to cause that. There's no amends that can be made. There's no forgiveness. There's no grace. So hence it leaves an open wound.
Yeah.
Um, some of the other songs that are come to mind that are really interesting are Terraform is one that Eric wrote. That's about taking like a foreign planet, say Mars, for example. If we wanted to go live there without living under a dome or something, we'd have to terraform the environment so that we have oxygen and there's water and things grow and stuff like that. That's another one. Let's see what else. Uh, Trying to think of another really cool one. There's one called Cosmic Conclusion. That's the album opener. Eric wrote those lyrics. That's about kind of a common theme. I think a lot of bands touch on is the potential for mass destruction at any time. With the push of a button, we could come to a cosmic conclusion, a nuclear fallout, or something like that. So those are some of them. With our lyrics, what we try and do is we try and go kind of deep with them. They're not really on the surface. A lot of times it may take a few listens to kind of really get the gist of what we're aiming at. We try and have kind of thought-provoking lyrics, and as well as try and have a uh, positivity to them. Hence, out of darkness, we try and shed light on some of the darker things, I guess.
Yeah, I
Those
can
are a
totally
couple
understand
examples.
that.
What's that?
I can understand that because that's what Nightmare Crypt's all about is positivity.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, we need more of that, I think. We need more of that in life.
Absolutely. There's too many negative creeps walking around, you know.
Yep. Yes, there is. It's a
Have you
weird, what's that?
no, go ahead. I didn't mean to
It's
cut
a
you off.
weird world that we live in. Things have changed a lot in the last 4 years, especially.
Oh yeah. You're not kidding. The
Yeah.
way it's going, it seems like it's going more downhill and inflation's still going up. I can't
Yeah.
I can't even enjoy coffee in the morning like I used to. You'll get a can of coffee from the grocery store, you get a plastic can, you're paying close to $10 and it's not even half the size.
Yeah. Yeah. Price goes up, quantity goes down. Ain't that the truth, man?
I mean, don't you wish we could go back to the 80s where we could buy like a big
Yeah.
can of coffee for like $5 and it was made out of metal?
Yep. I mean that was the best. The 80s, I believe, was the best decade, man. The best music, the best of times. It was before cell phones, before the internet really got cranking. I miss those times.
Yeah, tape trading was always fun, you know, sending tapes to people and you send one in return so people could check out a different band, be like, "Oh, you hear about these guys? No. Well, check them out." You know,
Right
it's
on.
cool. Because I remember people were sending me CDs, you know, and stuff, in school. Like my friend Greg, he's just like, "Al, you got to check out this band Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse and Monstrosity." I'm like,
Right
"Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, turn that mortification stuff off, dude." I'm like,
on.
"No, I like it." But hey, we all like what we like, right? I'm not
Right
going to
on.
put somebody down for what they enjoy because, hey, it may not be my cup of tea, but whatever, you know?
Right. To each his own. To each his own.
That's right, dude. That's right. So what do you like to do in your free time when you're not working with music?
Uh, I like to, I like to bike riding. I'm a big bike rider. I like to get out in nature. Where I live at, we've got 15 acres here, so we've got quite a bit of woods. I like to trek back in the woods, take a little time and appreciate the beauty of nature, the beauty of God's world, and whatnot. Stuff like that. I hang out with my girlfriend. Some of the normal stuff, watch movies. I've gotten into reading again quite a bit. A good buddy of mine, James McDonough, a bass player friend that I've played with. We were in Iced Earth together for a while. He's my best bud. He got me a couple of Neil Peart's books for Christmas. I think he got me one for Christmas and one for my birthday. So I've gotten into those. Those are really cool books. I mean, Neil Peart was he was obviously a master drummer, but such a smart guy. So I've gotten into reading lately.
Yeah, I
Stuff like
don't read
that.
books too often. I tend to stay away from books as much as I can because I
Oh
hate
yeah,
reading. Yeah. So I usually play video games or I play a game on my phone just to occupy some time.
right on. I got you. Well, I mean, I'll do that too for sure.
Yeah. What would you say is the best video game of all time?
I'm old school, man. So I'm probably gonna go with like Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah,
Pac-Man was cool, but Miss Pac-Man was cooler, especially the sped up one. The one where it goes real fast. That for
that's
an old school, yeah, for an old school game, that one. One of the newer ones I like is Call of Duty, but the zombies version, the Nazi zombies.
Hey, that's a great idea. Dead Kennedy's song that it's Nazi punks fuck off.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, the grindcore band Napalm Death actually did a great cover of that song.
Really,
Yeah, I've
that's
got the
cool.
t-shirt. So every time I'm in the grocery store, people look at me kind of funny. I said, "Don't you understand? It's a swastika that's crossed out."
Yeah, I guess at first look, yeah, someone might think something different.
But then they look at it up close and there's the big picture right there in your face, like slap, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, I guess some people just don't take the time to see the real meaning.
And then when they do, they're just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know what that meant." And you're like, "Well, it's not my band that put this together. Somebody else did it."
Right, right on.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude, because music it just changes people, and makes some people humble, but then it makes some people full of pride, and too much pride is not a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Sometimes that line is not clear, maybe, but yeah, I feel you.
I think it's all in how somebody holds their tone of voice and plus how they enunciate things, and you can tell just by like looking at somebody if they're gonna be cool or not, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's in how they talk to people too. If they talk down to people or if they're on the level with them, or if they make eye contact, things of that nature. On that note, I had over my career, I've had the chance to meet a couple of quite a few of my idols, and one of the coolest ones by far was probably Ronnie James Dio. And I had always heard that he was the type of guy that he would whoever he would talk to, be it the tech, be it the janitor, be it the manager, be it another guy in a band, he was always on the level with you, and that he would immediately try and elevate you to where it's like, hey, we're here together. I'm not this mighty guy, and you're not this little guy. And he did exactly that. Um, I met him backstage at Wembley Arena, and at the time I was with Iced Earth, and Tim Owens was singing with us. And Tim and Ronnie they were good buddies. And I came up and I was like, "Oh, Dio, dude!" I was freaking out. And Tim looked at him. He's like, "Yeah, that's our drummer, Brent." And Ronnie looked at him and said, "I know who Brent is." And he looked at me. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Shook my hand, and he immediately was like, "Hey, don't make fun of your drummer, man." kind of thing. He's like, we're
Wow.
all in this together. Yeah, it was really cool, man. It was like everything I had always heard. Such a classy guy, you know. So that's a perfect example of someone, you know, he was in the upper echelons, you know, such a long career, such a talented guy, you know, an icon, I would say. And, you know, he was totally cool to little old me, you know.
Yeah, that's
So,
how I feel about my friend Lee Harrison from Monstrosity. He's their drummer, and
mm-hmm.
he lives right there in Tampa. I just talked to him on the phone last night, and he says to me, Al, don't sell yourself so short because you never know when you're going to want to do something a little bit better because you can always do something better. Just take your time with it. Don't rush it because if you rush something, it's not going to work out.
Right. That's good advice, man. Very good advice.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite drummers of all time. But
Nice.
I didn't realize you were in Iced Earth, Brent.
Oh, yeah, man. About 15 years, man.
That's
Off and
all.
on. I was in, oh, thanks, man. I was in and out a few times. I originally got with them in 96.
Okay, was that during the album called Horror Show?
No, that was before then. I got in the band right after the recording of Dark Saga. I think that was the fourth studio album. But yeah.
Yeah, those are good albums for sure.
Yeah, yes, that's really good, man. That was kind of like their, I don't know if you'd call it their golden era or something, but that was definitely a high point in the band's career for sure.
Yeah, they definitely have their own sound, and I don't know who's doing vocals for them nowadays, but whoever it is, he sounds really good.
The last singer was Stu Block. Yeah, Stu Block's great, man. I mean, amazing singer, killer guy, very, very consistent live, very consistent, very energetic.
Consistency is
What's that?
everything. Consistency is everything.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I think it's hardest on the singer, you know, for sure. I'd say it's hardest on the singer, maybe second on the drummer, but you know, the singer they can't really be sick, you know. If they are, they got to power through it. But you know, Stu was very energetic live, and he was always on point, you know. So yeah.
Well, my next question for you, Brent, might be a trigger, but I'm not sure. I'd like you to take me back to your very first show. What was it like?
Very first show. My first big show that I saw was actually Def Leppard. Um, it was on the Pyromania tour. You know, the one with Photograph and Foolin' and all those Rock of Ages. It was Def Leppard with Crocus on the Headhunters tour. And there was another band called John Busher Axis, which was like a trio. It was those three in the old Jacksonville Coliseum. I think I was 13, maybe. That was back when tickets were like, I think I got an advance ticket for $9.75.
Wow.
But it was a killer show. Crocus kind of stole the show a little bit. I didn't really know who they were at the time. And after I went out and bought the Headhunters record, they were friggin' killer, man. Dude came out with a big battle axe, chopped up his guitar, then he hung it out over the crowd. I mean, they were really intense. And of course, Def Leppard was killer. But yeah, that was my first big show.
That's awesome, dude. Is Def Leppard still playing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're still at it, man. They're still at it. You know, that show that I saw, the first one, the drummer was still, you know, he still had both arms. And then I saw them on the following tour, which was a good 4 or 5 years later. And he only had one arm then. But he did like a little drum solo. And, you know, if you close your eyes, you could not tell the dude only had one arm. He got really good at playing the way that he did. And I was very impressed.
Yeah, it sounds like a miracle in a way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he kind of pioneered the electronic drum thing. I think was just coming around right when all that happened, and he kind of pioneered doing some of that. I think it's his snare drum arm, his left arm that's missing. So he substitutes his left foot for that. I mean, that must have taken a lot of practice to do. I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah, that definitely would take a lot of practice and definitely a lot of energy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to that guy, man. He's still going strong, man.
Absolutely. Kudos for him. I don't remember his name, but
Rick
he's
Allen.
oh,
Rick
that's
Allen.
right. Like, he's doing good. So that's great, man.
Oh yeah, man. They're touring with I know they were touring with Motley Crue for a while. They're doing like the stadium thing.
Speaking of Motley Crue, I've seen some video memes where they're making fun of Vince Neil.
Yeah,
I thought to myself, well, it's kind of funny, but kind of not.
it's kind of mean.
That too.
Yeah. I feel for the guy, man. I know that a lot of times with singers, as you get older, you start to lose your ability some. Um, but he sounds better. I think I haven't really seen much recently. I think he sounds a little better now than he did for a while. Um, I think he's worked on it, and I think they all, they do physical regimens. They work out and whatnot. And I'm sure he's much healthier than he was back in their heyday, as far as you know, his lifestyle and extracurricular activities.
Yep,
But
I
yeah,
can
I've
understand
seen
that.
I've seen those memes too.
Yeah, the first time I saw one, I was like, are you serious? Someone made a video meme of this guy?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I guess if you got haters, you're doing something right.
well, yeah. I mean, if people hate me, I don't care.
Mhm.
Welcome. Let them hate me. I'll still grow.
Right. Right on.
That's the way to look at it, because it's only up from here, if you ask me.
Sure. I think with haters, I think you just try and take that energy and kind of flip it. Use that as fuel for the fire. I'm going to do even more. I'm going to do even better. You know, let them hate.
Yeah, I mean, I've told some of my guests before at one of my shows, somebody yelled at me, "You suck." And I said, "Oh, well, thanks for telling me something about yourself. What else can you tell me that I don't know already?" And I walked away. But
Right.
this person was pissed, like they wanted to kick my ass or something. I'm just like, nope, I ain't having it.
I think a lot of that is, it's jealousy. It's somebody in the crowd that wants to be on the stage. So what are they going to do? They're going to tear down the guy that's up there doing it. You know, Unfortunately, I think that's a flaw of human nature. It's harder to applaud someone than it is to try and put them down.
Yeah,
So
because when someone puts someone down, they're basically putting themselves down in the process as well.
sure, yeah,
And sometimes people just don't realize it because they're too arrogant about it, They're like, oh, this person's a loser. I'd like to see you get up on stage and try this. It's not as easy as it looks.
sure. I mean, if the person was really a loser, then why are they in the crowd watching them perform? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yeah, because if the next time I get on stage, if somebody tries to do something really shitty, I'm just gonna like get this person out of here.
Absolutely,
I mean, have you
absolutely.
ever had any moments while you've been performing that have been either embarrassing or probably dangerous?
Uh, I wouldn't say dangerous. Not to me really, because I'm back behind the drums, so I kind of have a little bit of a barrier. But there have been some times where there was a couple instances with Iced Earth one time. I wouldn't call him a fan. Somebody in the crowd actually spit on John Schaefer. That was
Ooh,
not a good move. John stopped the song, took his guitar off, and he was ready to jump in the crowd. The guy did it, and then I think he retreated to the back of the crowd, and John called him out. The crowd pushed the guy to the front, lifted him up above, dumped him right over the railing, took him right out. There have been a couple other times where somebody threw a beer at Stu Block, and Stu called him out. The dude came up to the front, and Stu clocked him one time. He punched him. And the guy was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, dude." He's like, "Well, what did you do it for?" The guy's like, "I was just excited." He's like, "Man, don't throw shit at people, man." Guy apologized. They made amends. That was, I guess, a happy ending to a bad situation. Um, yeah, those are two that come to mind. I've never really felt in danger myself. Um, I can't really think of any embarrassing times. I mean, like any person that performs, some nights are better than others, but you know,
yeah, those things do happen. That's for sure.
I think all you can do is just give it your best, you know. And as long as you've paired, practiced, and as long as there's not what we say, maybe outlying factors or something, as long as you're not, you know, hungover or something like that, then I think you can hold your head high, even if you have what you consider a bad show. I think most people would still think it was a good show. And if you've given it your best effort, that's all you can do. I mean, that's the thing with live performance. You know, it's not going to be perfect every time. It's going to be the best that you could do that particular show.
I always tell people, give it all you got or don't give anything at all.
Absolutely. If you're going to do it, give it 100%, man.
That's right. It's either 100% or nothing.
Yep. Amen.
Absolutely, dude. Well, I have only got 8 minutes left here with you, Brent. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Let's see. I would like to give a shout out to David D, I think is his name, from the Medalist. Uh, he's been hooking us up. I guess he hooked us up with you, right? I think
Yeah, yeah, I've been
he's doing
friends with him for a while.
right on. He's doing a great job for us. Most definitely. We're very happy with the PR that he's given us and the interviews that he's hooked us up with really cool people like you. Shout out to him. Shout out to Metal Crash Radio. Tina has helped us quite a bit. I guess a shout out to my other band members since I'm the lone interviewee for this interview. Eric Barrios, he's my right hand guy, my partner in crime, singer. Bill Staley, guitarist extraordinaire, and then we're rounded out by a great bass player, Dan Callahan. Shout out to all of them. I guess just a shout out to all metalheads, music lovers, and fans the worldwide. Uh, you know, it's great that heavy metal is still going strong after all these years, and I think it's seen a bit of a resurgence. I would say, you know, things they seem like they kind of come in cycles. So you know, the '80s were what I would call the heyday. You know, there'll never be another time quite like that. But anything close to that we can come to, I'm all the better for that.
Totally agreed, man. Totally agreed with that.
Right on. I guess those are my shout outs. Other than, you know, anyone that wants to can check out Out of Darkness on all the typical platforms. You know, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Um, we have a video that will be premiering. I think it's tonight at midnight. It's for the song Terraform. It's track 3 off our new album. That's going to premiere. That's the first what I call pro shot video that we've done for this album. That'll be out. There's already a lyric video out for Via Dolorosa, as you mentioned, so people can get a taste of the music from that. We put a lot of work, a lot of time, effort, and energy into this album. We're very proud of it. We're looking to make a really big stink with it, man. We want to spread it as far and wide as we can.
I'm gonna cross my fingers for you and hope the best for you.
Awesome. You're rooting for us, right?
That's right, brother.
Right on.
Someone's got to do it, and here I am doing it.
We appreciate you, man. Most definitely, man. Most definitely.
You guys as well. I'll ask you a couple more questions. You guys have any upcoming shows?
We haven't got any shows booked right now. What we were doing was just concentrating solely on the album release. It took us quite a while to get the record done. We had some obstacles to overcome. So we were concentrating on that, getting it done, getting it made. We actually have physical CDs, and of course, it's going to be on all the digital, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, whatever all the typical things are to be there. But we're looking to start playing in, say, realistically, probably late spring, early summer. We're going to start the live assault. What we're doing is we're coming up with a brand new live show. We did about 40 shows for the album cycle of the prior record that we had, Seize the Day. And we're wanting to do a totally new show. I mean, not totally. We're going to play a few songs from the first record, but we're going to do quite a bit from the new album. We're going to have a new intro, and we're going to do a couple other things to make it special. I'm working up a new drum solo. So we're going to get that together really good before we start booking any dates. But
That's
once we do start, what's that?
I was saying that's really cool.
Once we do start playing, we're going to take it as far and wide as we can. We're probably going to do like the grassroots thing as far as we'll saturate Florida, our home state. Then we'll go up the East Coast. Then we'll go to the Midwest. Then we'll try and get over to the West Coast. Try and work our home country of the U.S. And then the next objective would be to get over to Europe. I think we'll be received well there. Pretty much play anywhere and everywhere that will have us.
That's very cool, Brent. My last question is, do you have any final words for Underground Noise Webzine?
Well, I would say thank you for your time. Thank you for all that you're doing for us and all that you're doing for metal in general. It's people like you and organizations like you that keep this thing going. So we really appreciate it, man. Most definitely.
You're more than welcome, Brent. Thanks for being a part of the show today. Thanks for giving me some of your time today.
Right on. Thank you. Metal lives because of you, man.
That's right. That's right, dude.